But I would like to introduce a local man who's running for representation here in the area, Mike Warner. He's been, again, I thanked him earlier for his efforts, and thank you all very much.
Good evening. Turn that on. I am Mike Warner. I'm the editor of TennesseeWatchman.com. I challenge anybody to prove me different. I'm a Vietnam-era Coast Guard veteran and a U.S. Army Desert Storm veteran. I was awarded the Bronze Star during Desert Storm. I am chapter leader for the American clubs in Tennessee, where we go into schools and we teach them the authentic Constitution, the authentic history of America. It's a rather new program, but I challenge you to look into it. Give me a call if you want to know anything about that. I'm a chapter leader for the Montgomery County chapter of the Tennessee Firearms Association. Proud to be associated with them. They are the only full-time gun advocate in the state of Tennessee, and they put forward legislation that is consistently killed in the in the committees, but I'll talk about that in a second. I was formerly elected to the Montgomery County GOP leadership, but I repented. And I'm currently the Constitution Party of Tennessee's SEC secretary. This is my third time running for the District 67 Tennessee House against Joe Pitts. First time I did it when I still had blinders on as a Republican, as a write-in vote. Last 2014, I received 30% of the vote against a man that was well entrenched and had easily 10 or 15 times as much money as I had to spend. So this is doable, okay? There are people that really like Joe Pitts, and there's a lot of people that really don't. And so I need to get the ones that don't to the polls, okay? Also in a unique position because unlike Mark and some other candidates, especially Darrell, I can actually walk my entire district. I'm in a good position. That'd be tough, wouldn't it, Darrell? But I've done some substituting, and I don't know if anybody else has substitute taught, or also in the military with some of the folks that I had responsibility for. And it's amazing, people that you think are really bright, that could really do very well, that just don't seem to be able to follow directions. And that's kind of the way I feel about the General Assembly in Tennessee, and of course Congress. We definitely need Mark up there to help straighten that up too, and we need Darrell at the top to remind everybody. But we've got to get back to people that are willing to learn and follow directions. The legislators are just to a point where they don't even care what the Constitution says. They want to do what they want to do. And by and large, what gets passed in the Tennessee General Assembly is things that the leadership wants. If the leadership doesn't want it, it never gets out of committee. So in the House, 4 or 5 people can kill a bill with 10 or 12 sponsors to that bill, and the other 95, 94 representatives never get to vote on that bill at all. And that could be for one of two reasons. It could be because they're shielding the people so that they don't have to vote on it, so they don't have to go on record for how they would really vote. You know, and then the other thing is just because they're afraid of how they might vote if they ever got a chance to. So I don't know which one it is. I assume that it's probably a mix. But need to do something about that. I need to be up there so that I can talk to these people on a one-to-one, on an equal level. Like was mentioned earlier, they don't pay any attention to the voters anymore. They're not there to represent us. They're there to represent the guy that may help them get to the next position. The committee chairman are not worried about killing bills because they know the governor has plenty of money to put into their account to help them get reelected, and with enough money they can tell enough lies enough times to get reelected. We have to end that kind of thing.
Right.
See, in 1836 in the public schools, a guy named Horace Mann decided to create, well, he created the public schools basically in 1836. In Massachusetts was the first one. His objective was to get God out of schools, to get an understanding of liberty out of schools, to get an understanding of civics, of self-governance and of civil governance out of the schools, and just make people that can be puppets and follow his lead, because people like him know better than the rest of us. I think we've seen too much of that, and we need to be changing that. And unless we elect some people that some people will say are unelectable, I know there's people saying I'm not electable because I don't have the money and the quirky little smile when he says God bless you and things like that. Okay, but people are beginning to wake up. This is the worst that I've ever seen in my life. I'm 62 years old, going on 63 this August, and it has been a downward slide, and much of it I was oblivious to. I'm still catching up to how far down we've come. We need to get people in touch with those things, and we need to be in a position to do that. So anyway, let me just skip over some of this. It's not enough to just elect godly people to office anymore. I mentioned the American clubs. That's one of the things, the Tennessee Watchman, it's something that I'm doing to try and educate people, to give people a resource that they can go to and get the true facts, get documented, well-resourced ideas, articles, podcasts, things so that they can take it and learn for themselves what the truth of history is. They've muddled it up so badly. What they teach in school has no even any kind of image of the truth, so we need to move more towards homeschooling, I believe, and that's I'm so glad. I know there's a lot of people here that homeschool, but really that's the only way out immediately on a short-term basis. The federal government has no jurisdiction in education whatsoever. And our General Assembly has over and over again refused to nullify federal acts that are not law because they're not in pursuance to the Constitution. We need state representatives, state senators that will say, you can't do that in our state. Right. We won't support it. Right. We won't fund it. We won't man it. And that's how we take our country back.
Yes.
I'm glad Mark's
Yes.
going, but I don't believe Washington will ever fix itself. Okay. We need somebody up there to run interference for us, but we got to fix it here. In closing, I just well, let's see. Let me talk about a couple of bills that were killed. And probably I'm preaching to the choir, but one of the bills the Tennessee Firearms Association was trying to get through was constitutional carry, which means that Tennesseans who had the right to own a gun could wear it, have it wherever they wanted to, because that's our constitutional right that shall not be infringed. Okay, they got killed in committee. Open carry. Every state that touches Tennessee, with the exception of Georgia, has open carry. Do you hear any terrible things happening in any of those states? But what the committee says is, we're afraid. There's no justification for those fears. But the committee system is set up so that people who run them can shut down anybody that disagrees with them. We've got to get rid of that committee system, and that means we don't need a whole lot of people that understand it and see it that way. They set the rules every year at the beginning of the session, and we need people that can talk sense to them and help them to understand that we're out there to serve the people and not boss the people. But anyway, I'm just one guy with a website so far. Okay, but I'm willing to go up there and stand in the gap between the federal government and the people of Tennessee. And I believe I can convince some other people, if they just have somebody whispering in their ear. I think there's people that want to do the same thing that are up there now. And I'd like to have a shot to do that. So God bless the Constitution Party. I'm so thankful for Darrell and for all those that held on for all these years to keep this ark afloat, so that the principles of the Constitution that are based on biblical principles will endure until the people are ready to accept them again. And I'm praying this will be the